What's up guys, Master Khan here with this week's Taekwondo video. This one is going to be for everybody because it's something that we still need to work on, and honestly it's probably the biggest weakness across the board with all of my students that I can tell. It's the most common weakness that students have in the school, so I want to make sure we touch on that quite a bit this week. And that is going to be our front stances. Just front stance. That's all I care about this week. We're going to be drilling it quite a bit because a lot of you guys do not have good front stances, or we're just too lazy to do a good one. So we're going to work on that until we can straighten this out. Okay, so first, step by step on the front stance, which I've done in multiple videos at this point. So hopefully you guys already know how to do it, and maybe we've just been a little lazy in class and we can just fix that easy. But if you don't know how to do it, or if you're a new student and you haven't watched the older videos, that's fine. Okay, so start with your feet together. Let me back up just a little bit. Start with your feet together and then one step apart. Your feet should be as wide as your shoulders are. Okay, so wherever my shoulder ends, I go straight down, there should be my foot. Shoulder ends, there should be my foot. Once I'm in that position, I make sure both of my feet are pointing the same direction. This is important. And then I'm going to take one leg, doesn't matter which one, okay? And I'm going to step back, one step, two steps, and then I'm going to bend my front knee, keeping my shoulders squared forward, and my feet still pointing the same direction. Okay? My back leg should be straight. My front knee bends until I can look down and not see my front foot. So as long as my knee's covering up that foot, then my knee is bent enough. Okay? So this should be our stance from the front. From a side view, this should be your stance here. Okay? Now that's not worrying about our hands at all, that's just the stance. So make sure you can do that, bare minimum. Okay? One thing students do as a mistake, when they step back with whatever leg, what they do, and see how I went straight back, okay? What students do is they bring it to the side and their body turns sideways. So if you put your feet on the same line, your body has to turn sideways to help you keep your balance. If you try to square up and you bend your knee, you're gonna be off balance. You're gonna fall every time. So what's gonna happen is your back foot's gonna turn sideways, and then you can keep your balance, but this is not the correct stance. So when you're practicing your forms or your moving hand techniques at home, look at your stance and make sure it's correct. It's gotta be shoulder width wide, two steps long, okay? Once you're in this position, you're good to go. And whatever hand technique you're gonna throw, it's gonna look good because your stance is correct, okay? So what I want you guys to do is get into the stance. So get into the stance. Once you're in a good stance, what I want you to do is set a timer for 5 minutes. And I want you to hold this stance without moving for 5 minutes. Some way you can help pass the time, put on a show on Netflix and set your timer. Watch the show, or whatever you're watching, Hulu, I don't care. But watch a show, maybe a YouTube video, and hold it for 5 minutes. Then switch. Do the same thing. Hold that stance for 5 minutes. All right? And then once you've done both legs 5 minutes each, I want you to do one more round where you're walking in your front stance for 5 minutes. So what you would do, start in a front stance, take a step into another front stance. Take a step into another front stance. When you run out of space, you can turn around. When you turn around, you move your back foot over, and then you spin your feet so they look the other way. And then you step, 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 and then you move your back foot over, turn your feet, step, step, step. And you just keep doing that for 5 more minutes. So it's 15 minutes total just practicing your front stance. I don't care about your hands. I just want your legs to be correct, and we can fix your hands later. All right? So that's across the board. White belts all the way up to black belts need to work on this. So do this drill as much as you can. We will be going over a lot of front stands this week. It's a testing week, so forms are a big deal. So be ready. I'll see you guys in class.